this list of your partners and their role, you want to be in the net. And it's always been an interesting dynamic because there are certain situations, you and I both know, where you're pulling for the other guy, but you don't mind when you see a soft goal go in.
Yeah, because you want your chance.
You want your chance. So, but Ozzy, because you've had to dig in for everything that you've ever gotten, and I admire that to the ends of the earth for you. How did you, as part of your mindset, when you wanted to be in the net, still not just say it, but truly in all earnestness, support the other guy?
Well, I think a lot of times we both play, and Scotty would more or less have both of us switching on and off, and he had his ways of having us in certain cities where we thought we'd be at our best. And but the one time I was disappointed was when we won in '97, and I didn't play in the playoffs. I played a lot in the regular season. Yeah. Vernie got hurt. And at the moment, you never look at the big picture of it, where you don't look at it through somebody else's eyes. You're only thinking of yourself, right? I mean, through Scotty's eyes or through the players. Well, Vernie won a cup. I played the year before we lost. We kind of split a bit. My record against Colorado wasn't great back then. And Vernie his was good. And he was a veteran guy. And I look back on it, I had to realign the way I thought then, because I had a choice. I remember Dave Lewis told me, we talked about earlier, he says, and Scotty didn't tell me I wasn't playing. Dave Lewis did. Dave goes, "You're in a holding pattern. You're amber right now," which meant I was in a holding pattern. I'm like, all right. So, and of course I was mad. He told me back in the lunchroom down at the Joe Louis Arena, just outside by the Olympia Club there, and I was sour because I wanted to play because you're competitive. And then I was driving home. I thought about it. I was still mad. So, and then I was still mad the next day, and I was terrible in practice. And I was said to myself, if I don't realign the way I think, if I'm needed, I'm not going to be ready. And that's going to be way worse than any of this right now. So, and I got to support Vernie because he's done the same for me the whole time I've been here. So, and that's kind of the way I took it is this is a good opportunity for me to be a good teammate, but to get better in practice because now I'm going to get a ton of practice time. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I was 25 at the time, maybe 24. And so I practiced a ton with our goalie coaches and the players that were on the ice and tried to get better. So there's always something you can take as a positive. I think I got into 3 games that year, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Was in for like 10 minutes in New Jersey or against Colorado, just a little bit. But looking back on it, Scotty made the right decision, like he always did, right, for the most part. And Vernie's best series was against Patrick Roy, who he beat with the Flames in Montreal. So there's lots of things that lined up to say probably should have started Vernon, which was the right choice in the end. And it was my job to be supportive and be ready and make myself better in case I was needed. There's nothing worse than not putting in the work. And I've done that too, sitting on the bench and you're not ready and you see 2 go in. You're like, oh, please don't score third when I can't go in. Then the head starts to go down. I didn't San Jose nor the goalie sits there. I've hit in that corner many a night. Babcock's looking for me. My head's down. I'm hiding.
I did that in my one and only NHL game.
And he radios the radio guy. Do you know where he is? Comes looking for me. I'm like, no, I'm not here. Because you're not ready. Yeah. So I made a point of always putting in the work and getting myself ready and making sure I was overly prepared where whatever happened in the game, I could just go in and play.
Do you know, Oz, now knowing this, seeing this through your eyes and where you were at en route to winning that first cup in '97, 2 former guys that have dug in, Scotty, and just recently George McPhee, who was the general manager of Washington, '98. Both of them have come on the show, and they have said, wow, because now they're replaying those games.
Yeah.
Didn't realize how good Osgood was in the Washington series. I know it was a sweep, but both of those guys who I trust implicitly the way they see the game, each on one side for the Wings and the Caps. So beyond what you just said, what are the other things that were invaluable in the backup experience of '97 that allowed you to really shine in your first cup as a starter against the Caps?
Well, I talk about always watching Vernie in the playoffs, and him and I that's when you didn't get your own room, so I was rooming with Vernie the entire playoffs. Yeah. Just seeing how he prepared himself, and there were some tough times. I mean, there was series against Colorado, that series especially. It was never a for sure thing, and he had some ups and downs, and just seeing how he reacted and how he stayed calm the whole time. Never really deviated from his thought process or his preparation ever. And even, in pregame skate, I'd watch him to see what he did the same thing over and over again to make sure that he never had those ups and downs. Because we had a very good team. If you kept yourself on an even keel and made 5-6 really good saves during the course of a game, you can give yourself a real good chance to win. And just seeing how and I remember I sit in my stall after, which was beside his obviously, and I'd listen to him how he talked to the media and how he, good or bad, and how he answered questions, how he reacted after. Always the same all the time. Always real calm. Always, I don't want to say he was easy with the reporters, but he said the right thing. Is a good way I can put it. And so it was a lot of different things that I could sit back from a different perspective instead of being in the chaos. I was kind of on the outside watching, so I could take that stuff into the next year when I played.